I need to begin this review of Nock with a point of order. On the Oculus page, developers Normal have boldly touted Nock as the first real multiplayer sport for VR. This, my dear viewer, is a total load of bullshit. Even if we ignore the numerous failed attempts at creating a VR sport that predate the Quest, the simple fact remains that Echo VR is a sport, and it is entirely built for VR. It's been out since 2017, but it's been available on the Quest since 2020. I have no idea what the marketing department was thinking when they concocted that lie, but it holds about as much truth as me introducing myself as the first bearded man to have toes. Shame on you, Normal. Shame. Now that I've got that out of my system, I can take a deep breath and get down to the business of telling you about how absolutely fantastic Nock is to play. On its face, Nock's premise is simple, in the same way that most ball sports tend to be. Nock is a competitive team sport that sees opposing teams trying to knock a giant beach ball into the opposing goal by skating around the arena shooting arrows at it. Simple. Although the obvious comparison of Rocket League exists, I'll try not to dwell too long in the comparisons for those of you who, like me, are actually broadly unfamiliar with it. If you are, however, familiar with Rocket League, this is basically that, in VR, and with arrows. Players can only hold a limited amount of ammunition and must choose their shots wisely, as well as constantly be scouring the playing field for pickups. Once fired, arrows can also be changed in mid-flight with a simple button press, transforming them into stationary blocks to stop the opposition's shot or redirect the ball. Make the ball go fast enough, and it becomes weaponized, stunning any player it hits and resetting them to their starting position. And that's about it, really. Within this simple premise lies so much room for nuance and skill to develop that the only thing as good as playing Nock is going to be sitting back and watching as god-tier players refine their skills and turn this excellent game into an outstanding sport. The gameplay in Nock is so addictive that I honestly hate all of you for making me stop playing long enough to write this review. Everything about the gameplay is so easily accessible that you will immediately be ready to jump into a game and have fun right from the start, just after completing a very brief tutorial. The movement system is one of the best I've encountered. The player can glide around the arena using the left controller to grip and launch at speed, a system which, when used well, compels you to maneuver with graceful precision across the court. The same motion with the right hand will handle the vertical movements, allowing the players to launch themselves into the air, taking the gameplay into contest across a full range of three-dimensional movement. Amidst the effortless gliding and jumping around the arena will be a chaotic hail of arrows as players jostle for position and use their projectiles to push the ball this way and that. Initially, the skill set focuses on basic accuracy and timing as one gradually masters the art of hitting a moving object. But within a very short learning curve, players will find themselves intuitively making complex physics-based calculations on the fly. Like in a game of pool, the real skill comes from understanding where to hit the ball in order to influence its movement in a particular direction. If you can imagine a game of pool where the white ball is never allowed to come to rest, you can begin to see the skill set that Nock so effortlessly extracts from its players. Once the basics are mastered, the advanced skill of using the blocks to stop or redirect the ball's momentum will require a whole new dimension of quick thinking. Rather than just using arrows to push the ball around, artful players can turn the game's flow with a well-placed block shot, instantly creating new scoring opportunities where there were none before. Despite my best efforts, it is just hard to describe how much fun Nock is to play, other than to use my old catchphrase, it's really, really cool. Where Nock lands itself into a little hot water is deciding to launch an entirely multiplayer game. Yes, there are bots that you can play against, but they offer little to no actual competition and become obsolete within an hour or two of playing. At this point, you are left with the great tree falling in the woods question of multiplayer gaming. If your game is 100% multiplayer and no one is playing, is it really still a game? Thankfully, the developers have priced the game sensibly, making it broadly accessible for most players. They have also invested pre-release in sharing Nock with almost every reputable content creator around. Thanks to the high quality of the gameplay, there is overwhelming positivity around the game from the content creator community, which is a massive advantage. As a result, you can currently pick any time of day, and you will always find a game. What is also notable at this early stage in the Nock community's development is that on the whole, every knocker that I've encountered has been genuinely friendly. I have yet to experience any toxicity, and due to both the outstanding gameplay and the excellent player base, I've now had some of the most fun that I have ever had in VR in this game. Long may it last. The other big criticism for Nock stems from how difficult it is to find your friends. Given that the player base will naturally fall away, the ability to quickly and easily find the people you want to play with is absolutely vital. As it stands, this is the weakest part of the Nock experience, and the developers need to very quickly take a look at how friends can connect in-game. Whether it be a social hub like Blaston, easy invites for people from your friends list like in Echo, or a system of befriending players like in Population 1, Nock's social networking needs an urgent update. There is currently a vast array of well-tested options out there, and if normal can't bring this element in line with other games, then Nock is at a high risk of being left behind. Graphically, Nock isn't amazing, but it really doesn't have to be. The single arena that the game occupies is entirely underwhelming, but I can honestly say that not once in the middle of a game have I ever actually noticed that. What is apparent throughout the game is just how much effort has gone into the physics system that underpins everything in Nock. Watching the way this plays out within the game is far more satisfying than any fancy graphical flourishes could have been. Similarly, the audio seems benchmarked at the get the job done level, but again, who cares? The music is good enough to encourage players without becoming intrusive, and the audio cues that alert you to what's happening around you are all completely adequate. They are, however, just not particularly noteworthy or exceptional. But I think it's a real testament to the quality of the gameplay that in trying to score the graphics and the sound, no specific visual textures or sonic flourishes came to mind. Instead, I find myself thinking of moments where these elements fused with the gameplay to create an overall experience that became far more than the sum of its parts. Nock is an outstanding addition to the Quest library and the existing pantheon of unique VR sports. As the absolute epitome of easy to learn but hard to master gaming, there is an enormous amount of depth and nuance available to those looking to test themselves. It also offers an accessible, quick, and easy bit of fun for those who would rather not invest the time and prefer to play a little more casually. With a few tweaks to the social aspects of the game and enough engagement from the developers to foster a lively community, Nock has the potential to become a genuinely special part of the Quest ecosystem. For anyone on the fence, the modest price tag and ease of entry really do seem to indicate that you just can't knock it until you try it. 8.5. Addictive. If you're enjoying the channel and would like to stay up to date with all the news and reviews, click the subscribe button now. If you haven't bought this game yet, click like, and then stop wasting my time and go buy Nock, so that you can face me in the arena.
Oh, really? I didn't see the hype.
Jumped in and started moving around. I'm like, oh yes.
I didn't even see any of the hype, so for me it's just a pleasant surprise.